afternoon, good evening, or good morning, viewers, wherever you are. Welcome to the AfricaNEV podcast, whereby we talk about e-mobility in Africa. Today's topic will be about the emerging ecosystems or the changes that are going to happen in the ecosystems where electric vehicles are concerned. Our guests are Gada Shagbo and Tolule Olukokun. Olukokun.
Jesus. I think Olukokun have passed his flying colors.
I can hear you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here again.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We know that currently the ecosystem is just getting in. You know, we can't say that you can actually have the number of bikes or electric vehicles in the country or in Africa accountable. But we also know that it is just a matter of time before the numbers start to steadily increase. So what does this mean, especially in terms of the grid? What does it mean in terms of taxes? What does it mean in terms of financing? It will affect every sphere of life, basically. So I have a question for Olukokun, seeing as his startup, Think Bikes, they are already operating in Nigeria. They have a certain number of orders. So what does that mean, especially like for your customers? What will they need to, in terms of equipment, apart from the bikes alone? What will they need to, will they need to put up charging stations? Maybe you could give us an insight into that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the question, John. Basically, we understand that a lot of these infrastructures are not readily available, right? So we are building a solution whereby you have less problem worrying about charging and all of that. So our own product is already coming with solar panels between 300 watts to 600 watts using the cargo spaces and some other innovations we are still adding up to it. So for our users or clients or customers, they don't really need to bother much about charging or trying to put up a charging station and all of that. Whatever amount of access they have to the grid will do so much for them. And during the day, the solar panel will do a whole lot to, to charge and put some longevity to their range, So I know that with the growing adoption of electric mobility, infrastructure is key, especially charging infrastructure is key. So, but then with our micromobility, we are taking care of that from the beginning and making sure that we have a solution that really serve our customers. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So you've actually solved the problem of infrastructure by giving your customers basically helping them in terms of trickle charging as they operate, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. And in the terms of trickle charging, what do you expect in terms of, do you have some numbers in terms of let's say like because you said that 300 to 600 watts, will that be able to charge the battery? And without using the grid, will it be sufficient?
So the solar panel is the secondary charging, not the primary charging, right? That's why I said for the amount of access you have to the grid, the solar panel will support it during the working period, especially during the working hours. So we are looking at a situation whereby before you need to carry your cargo, the bicycles are parked, and while they are parked, they are making use of the sun to charge. Then while you need them, they are already topped up, and you are moving. Do you get it? So it's not that you'll be on the road all the time, right? It's not all the time. You whatever you want to carry, you still need the time to put them in and all of that. So we are looking at the solar panel really doing a good job, charging up, topping up your batteries, elongating your range. So that's basically it. But it's not the primary source of charging. Maybe overnight you plug your bicycle to the grid, charge it overnight. But what I'm saying in essence is that it doesn't mean you have to necessarily spend money on charging station, trying to erect solar panel and all of that before you can use our product. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. That is very clear. So Gad, I wanted to find out in your point of view, Olukokun has explained that based on the bicycles and the two-wheelers and the three-wheelers, he's actually solved a bit of the issue on infrastructure. What about for four-wheelers? What do you think? In Kenya, there's a company that does electric vans, BYD vans.
Okay.
So what do you think? They import them. So what do you think it would mean for their clients? What would they need to actually put up in terms of infrastructure?
That's a very interesting question. Well, they need the charging systems. Or the plug that goes to the car, or technically they call it EVSC. Then there's the one that goes to the socket. So most cars come with the standard AC charging that you can just connect to your wall socket in the house, and then the other one goes to the car. Okay, the problem comes when you need to do fast charging, because BYD, for example, since it's a Chinese company, so it means that the plug, the vehicle side, will be a standard Chinese GBT plug by default, unless otherwise specifically requested. I hope you understand. And this circles back to the issue of charging standards. What is a charging standard for EVs for Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Algeria, wherever on the continent? We need to make a decision on that. And the longer we delay, the longer we create problems that eventually we have to now go back to try and retroactively correct. It's a very, very, very big one. However, the other side of this whole conversation is about the grid, the electricity grid, where some people are thinking that, hey, if we replace all the cars on our roads in whichever country in Africa with electric vehicles, imagine that everybody comes home and everybody plugs into the grid at the same time. What happens then? For most of the continent, we have anemic power supply. Hello, say hi.
Hi, I'm with you.
Yes. I'm saying say hi because Nigeria. I don't want to say that you're alive, So for a lot of the continent, all jokes aside, we have inadequate supply. I think Kenya, for example, we don't really have that problem. But recently, South Africa even is going through similar power challenges. So if everybody plugs in at the same time and you start drawing power, the blackout situation may become worse. However, I believe that is a very simplistic way of thinking. It doesn't take cognizance of the dynamics of the EV revolution that is currently occurring on our planet. You see that the idea of vehicle to things charging. In other words, normally you are charging the car, but sometimes, you know, the batteries in these cars are so big that they actually are reservoirs of electricity. You understand? So if you have the correct electrical components, you can also do the opposite, where the car itself can be used to power other devices. You see, so you get into not even vehicle to grid, but vehicle to things, because maybe you can even use your car to power your electric kettle.
Yes.
You understand? So you get the situation where maybe your neighborhood, you don't have power. You can go to your friend's place or your cousin's place at the other side of the city, charge your car, get a full battery, come to your house, and use your battery to power things. You understand? So instead of talking about the imaginary, for now, problem of EVs coming to take away all the available power that we currently have because they are all being plugged in at the same time, we should rather be having serious conversations about DC grid systems. You understand? I remember a couple of, is it 2 years now? We had Anwachera on our podcast, and that was one of the major talking points. The fact that we need to switch to DC grid systems, because currently we are using AC. That is why your laptop, it comes with the adapter. The adapter will receive AC from the socket, change it to DC, so that your laptop that uses DC, it has a DC battery, can use the energy. You understand what I'm saying? But what about if your house, the wiring is DC? That means that you can just plug in directly without the adapter, that the brick in the middle. One side is a plug for the wall, the other side is a plug for your machine. Straight DC system. Unless maybe you want to step down the voltage. But even that one, the cost of the equipment you need to be less. Yeah, sir. And what that does is that the power that is being generated, you have more of it being used by the end user. Because there's always a loss when you have to convert from maybe AC to DC. You see? So that is a conversation rather we ought to be having. That how can we do DC systems? Because it's clear that our governments are not able or are unwilling to solve our electricity challenges comprehensively. And that story doesn't seem to be to change anytime soon. It doesn't appear that it will change anytime soon. And the cost of solar systems and the falling price of batteries means that most people going forward on our continent will be doing these solar systems that are DC. You get what I'm saying? So why not architecture our energy systems with that in mind? That is my submission.
Yes, because you can look at it in two ways, as you said. The batteries can actually, there are some vehicles that are not used the whole day. Most people actually who have vehicles use it for transport in the morning, park it, then use it for transport in the evening. So for a good 6 to 7, 8 hours, the vehicle is not moving. It's not doing anything. it could actually be used in ways of stabilizing the grid. And that would be a very important, that is something very important, especially in Africa, whereby we are trying, in fact, majority of how we want to generate our power is through renewables. And renewable sources are intermittent. So what would it entail to actually do something like that?
Oh, okay. Please, can you repeat the question again?
Yes. So my question is, what would be needed to be able to actualize vehicle to grid? And I also wanted to ask Olukokun, in his designs, is he actually has he put that into consideration as well, whereby he can give his clients the chance to actually use the battery for other uses?
Okay. So what will it take? I think it will take a lot of political will. It will take political will. Our party has to decide that this is the way to go. Money, because it means that we have to spend on our distribution and standards systems. So like currently we have standards for AC wiring. We must do a whole standard for DC wiring. But I think it comes down to the political will. Anyway you look at it, it's a political will that is major. Now, with respect to the 2 and 3 wheelers, like what Kingsley is currently doing, I think that the size of batteries that we're talking about really they don't play a significant role. You understand? As compared to the cars that are 4-wheelers. We are talking about 30 kilowatt hours and up for the cars. But for these 3-wheelers, maybe 5 kilowatt hours or so. But be that as it may, the volume is also very high.
Yes.
So in aggregate, there is an impact. But what you see is that because they are smaller, for most of these bikes, 2 and 3-wheelers, battery swapping technology plays a significant role. You understand? So without we don't have to belabor that issue. We just have to make sure that you include the right battery swapping technologies for such vehicles. Then you are good to go.
Okay, so let me come in. Sorry, you guys couldn't hear me earlier. But can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. For our own design, we are incorporating V2H, but in a different model. We are trying to make it a subscription model, whereby you pay a little to have access to it, because that's not part of the original use case we designed it for. But we see that, we have an opportunity to provide affordable, clean energy to people. So we are incorporating that as a separate model, right? So what we are doing is we have a separate battery pack with a 12-volt outlet and some LED lights that if you are interested, you subscribe to, and you are able to use your bicycle to power your house. But in it, it's a separate battery source from that of the traction. So no matter the usage of your energy, you are actually not disturbing your range. Your range is not affected, right? And we are giving it, we are limiting it to something around 40, 50 watts. So if you have 12 volts LED and about 4, 5, 6 LED bulbs, you are good to go for the whole night, right? So that's the way we are doing it. Now, coming back to what God said about swappables. It depends, It depends, because we are testing. We are testing and we see that what we are doing is pedal assist. What we are doing is pedal assist. If we ramp up the battery, we are able to actually give you about 100 kilometer range. With the solar panel, kind of, you have the whole day. You have the whole day, right? We have the whole day to really use this thing. It's different from throttling and all of that. Are you with me? So
Yes.
now, it depends. If you have heavy users, swapping is cool, right? That means you don't need to make the battery large. 40 amp hour max is enough. Use it for 50 kilometers or less and swap it. And you have your 100 in the whole day. But for micromobility, and if you are not doing a ride sharing services, maybe not compulsory to do battery swap and all of that. But if you are doing shared mobility that you know, okay, these bicycles are always in use, yes, swapping the batteries are a very fantastic solution. And what God said earlier as well, saying that instead of us bothering ourselves with EVs killing the utility or the grid and all of that, if all of us plug at once, well, it depends. This is Africa. We are sold to everything. We are sold to changes and adoption, whatever you think about it. So if we are making a case for DC now, I'm not sure we'll be anywhere in the next decade. Because if we really want DC, these renewable solutions we are currently adopting, the microgrid and all of that, will not need inverter solutions. We just will direct DC from solar panel to the batteries, then to the house. But no, we are still inverting it or converting it to 220 volts AC, because all of our appliances, everything we need, are in AC. By the time we now advocating for DC, how many people do you think will be willing to change directly? Talk about the efficiency, talk about the cost and everything. I'm coming. It's nice, but for individual that needs to change a whole set in the house, it's not appealing. Are you getting the point? So right now, what we need to do is, okay, for the existing system, the change will come, right? We'll advocate it to come, but is it in this decade or in the next decade? So what we do is, okay, say, instead of changing the current infrastructure to be able to withstand the load that EVs may come up with, then we'll say, let's do DC instead and see how that runs. So we need pilots around that place. We need investors around that place, right? But it can be a sudden change. That's okay. Just what I wanted to say.
Okay, I to speak to that, I don't think I was suggesting a sudden change, but what you say is that organically, even now, there are DC equipments that are coming to market. Yeah, understand. So there's no standards, but the equipments are being manufactured. So all the policymakers have to do is just do the standards. Once you do the standards, things will naturally take their own course because it will become a function of economics. I hope you understand. And efficiency. And given our constraints, you know that people naturally go that way. The second thing is that the reason why we still need inverters now is because the wirings in our houses is wired for AC. It's still AC. You get what I'm saying? But if from the get-go, maybe I am living in a remote part of the city that I know that I cannot depend on the grid. So from the get-go, I'm building solar. And from the get-go, I make sure my contractors wire my house for DC. I'm gone. We have a lot of existing structures and buildings and whatnot that will not be applicable for. But don't forget that Africa, we have an infrastructure deficit. Our cities are being built, our roads are, I mean, we need to build everything. Yeah. So exactly. What is yet to come is far, far more than what is already there.
Yes.
You get it? So let us think about the future. Some decisions are there that you can take now. You begin to see the effect in 5, 6, 10 years' time. You understand? But taking them now helps you. When today the market is basically insignificant, now is the time to take the decision so that as the market grows, it will grow into that framework that you have designed. It's like some wise parents, you know, when we are kids, some parents, your boy is 5 years old. Then you buy a shirt 2 or 3 sizes bigger than the boy. So that as the boy is growing, he's growing into the shirt. You know, it's the same kind of mentality I believe we need to adopt. And that has been solid lacking on our continent. So you see that we'll wait. We want the market to grow before we take decisions. By the time the market has grown, now we're taking a decision. It is becoming difficult because we now have to retroactively go back to come and correct the mistakes that were made, which at the time made sense because there was no structure. You understand? I've built my house with the door facing the sea. Somebody built his own with the door facing the road. Now, after so many years, the government has come and said that no, all houses, the door must face the sea. What does that mean for those of us whose houses, the door is facing the road? You understand?
You will block it and create another door.
Extra expense and effort.
Yeah, anyway. But you see, Olukokun, I have another question. And you see, if you look at it in terms of your business model as well, because that is also another very big part of you will basically be selling energy, especially on the swapping part. You'll become a utility.
See, finish your question, you're right.
Yeah, so you see, that already is a change that is going to happen, that government needs to be cognizant of. You will actually now be selling energy direct to people. And especially when you look at the people who have bikes, fact is that they live in a lot of informal places. Some of them live in slums, places like that. So it is not inconceivable to think about the guy coming, parking his bike. Once he parks his bike, picks up a part of his battery, he goes with it into the house. If there's no electricity, that's what he uses to actually light up everything that he's using. I don't think that's inconceivable.
No, it's not. But you see, I'm not considering that model of removing a part of the battery from your bicycle, right? Everything is incorporated. You run the wire to your bicycle. Because you really have to plug it to the bicycle itself. So
yes, that is
you plug it to somewhere close to the house and plug it in, and they are purely DC, right? So now, if you say with that, I'm selling energy, fine. This energy is gathered from the sun. If I have a solution My solution shouldn't solve one problem, to solve many problems. And that's what I think will be a value proposition for a lot of people. So if you are not buying because of mobility, you buy because of energy. You want to power your house or lighting or something. And we'll see how that runs, we'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll need to extend the capacity. You know, we have a fantastic innovations. Some of them we are working on their patents because we are holistically thinking about the solutions. That,
Yes.
I mean, this is available. This problem is available. This can solve this and can solve this and can solve this. So we have come up with nothing less than different 4 solutions incorporated into that bicycle, and which are also marketable, like they can generate revenue on their own. So when it comes to swapping, I won't be in the business of swapping. I'm already talking to another startup, right, that are into this energy, battery as a service, and charging stations and all of that. I'm already talking to them. So they will be in charge of providing those batteries for swapping. All we need is give them specifications. So I don't want to complicate my business model. I just want to focus on providing mobility and energy as available, you know, and every other accessories, other partners can come on board. I mean, one solution brings a lot of markets. So other people will be thinking about other markets as well, emerging markets that can come up from that single solution. So, and that's what we are telling the government. Adopt mobility and you open up a whole new huge economy for the people.
Yes. Yes.
Different jobs and all of that. So basically that's just it. That's just it.
Well, we were still talking about the effects. And one thing that we've seen is that we are going to have basically other people becoming utilities. I don't know about the law in Nigeria and Ghana. In Kenya, the law was updated whereby you can actually, as long as you get a license, you can actually sell power. What about Nigeria?
Well, you see, power, if it's, I think majorly, anything that has to do with national grid is what is government business. All these renewable energy, what's it called? Solar panel, biogas, hydropower, whatever. All of those are not regulated at all. So they are basically your business. So I can choose to have a mini grid and sell to you or not sell to you. So it's nobody's business. But I think for the microgrid and all of that that are coming up these days, I think there are some level of regulations, especially, but by association. I don't think it's by the government. By association, there's this Renewable Energy Association of Nigeria and all of those, you know. So basically, a lot of sectors are unregulated in Nigeria. I may not be talking from 100% knowledge, but from my experience, right? Nobody has ever harassed me on my solar panels on my roof. Nobody has ever told me I should come and pay a particular tax because I'm using solar panel, I'm generating biogas from my waste. You know, instead, I've been getting award, I've been getting accolades for helping the environment. So that's that, and I don't think it's really a problem, right? So that's it when it comes to Nigeria. I don't know if it's the same with Ghana. Dad, is it the same with Ghana?
I like the way you say power. But for a minute there, I thought you meant political power, not electrical power. John, before I answer the question, quick one for you. When you say to sell power, are you talking about selling to the grid or selling to consumers or both?
It's actually both, because think about it like this. As Olukokun has said,
so you have net between.
It's in law, but it hasn't yet been actualized.
When did the
So
law come?
the legislation is there that actually allows and says that net metering is something that has to be there. But in terms of actualizing it, the grid, the power, the utility provider has not taken any steps towards actualizing it.
Okay, so Ghana. All right. So Ghana, for generation, anything up to 500 kilowatts, I believe, even the license for it. But anything above that, we need an IPP license, that's an independent power producer license. So there's that. No matter the technology, if we are doing thermal, solar, hydro, once you cross that threshold, and I believe it's per project, you get what I'm saying? So you can have, if you are doing 1 megawatt, you can split it into 2 or 3 and do it in phases so that you avoid the license. That there's that. However, in terms of also large-scale projects, I think the government some time back just went crazy with thermal plants. Okay, because at the time it was very acute in 2006, where we were having a lot of power outages. We call it doom saw here. Doom is a true word for off, and the saw means on. So on and off, basically. Yeah. I mean, the government went crazy with thermal plants. So we had a scenario where we moved from mainly hydro to now 60% of our capacity being thermal. And depending on the actual usage, the mix can be 50-50, on a rolling basis. 50 thermal, 50 hydro. But what you see is that we also now have a lot of excess capacity. Okay. And to top it off, a lot of those excess capacity is also peaker plants capacity. So we are paying extra. So there's a lot of carrying costs that's generating a lot of legacy debt in the energy sector. So the government is desperate to find a use for that excess capacity. You get it? And because of that, they have been sort of like a moratorium on IPP projects. But you're going so bad that the government is even trying to constrain the growth of solar in a way, because from their perspective, we have all this extra capacity. Now, if most of the customers are running to solar, who is going to use that
generation
capacity? When economically it doesn't make sense to the consumer. It's an interesting scenario. So if you are doing residential, these small projects, like Olukokun is saying, nobody is coming to chase you for that. They don't really care. But there can be a huge effect on aggregates. You understand? Because Ghana, for example, most consumption is by residential users. And funny enough, residential users, I think, they actually pay less than industrial users. When it's supposed to be it is what it is. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's a very, very interesting political reasons. If you want to ask, I can see in your face that you are wondering why. Political reasons.
Yes.
The industries cannot cry as much as the ordinary citizen, and they can vote. So there's that. So we see that we even had a net metering law some time back. Technically, it's still on the list or something, but that one too has been crimped for basically the same reason. You understand? So
Yes.
effectively, we don't have any net metering. Effectively, there's a cap on IPP projects above 500 kilowatts. But if you are doing smaller scale, go for it.
You see,
within reason.
the reason why I'm asking God and Olukokun is that when for Ghana, a simple solution to the access capacity is to simply shift to e-mobility. But here is the caveat for that, because if I have an e-bike or an EV, and I find that the price of power from the grid is high, I will now want to look for self-generation. That will be the next thing.
John, let me not let me cut you. Let me be rude. Listen. In Ghana here today. Or, is it before? Electricity has always been cheaper than fuel. The last year, I think our energy price increased 47 different times. 47, or some crazy number.
Yeah.
That's this year. We are 37 days into the year. We have had 4 separate petrol and diesel price increments.
Yes.
And there is no end in sight. Because the currency is going to depreciate faster because our country has a lot of debts. And oil prices are on the way up. You understand what I'm saying? So, whichever way you look at it, it is cheaper. Even if you're using the grid, remember the report we have been doing. I think this year will come out soon about fuel prices compared to electricity for various EV models. It speaks volumes. Yeah. Another thing I'm not considering is that government also see petroleum as a cheap way to raise money. So let's slap taxes on this. But the same is not true for electricity. You understand what I'm saying? So even without the impact of solar, that is the end. To put a point on it, the energy regulator here in Ghana, that's the Energy Commission, actually is championing the adoption of EVs for exactly the same reason. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I will take it because they are the only organization that's serious about EVs in Ghana from the government side. However, I also see problems with that. You understand? Because mobility is about commerce, it's about industry. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a bigger conversation than just an energy conversation.
Yes.
Believe you me, energy is very, very important. It's very, very fundamental. That's why when the price of energy increases, everything goes up. But it goes beyond that. Because this is not just about the cars. It's about what goes into the cars. So the materials, the raw materials, which we have all of them on our continent, the various value chain to the finished product, which is the car, the bicycle, or whatever that we are using, then the supporting industries. You understand what I'm saying? It is actually, for me, a key to unlocking our potential as a continent, financially speaking. If we don't allow the current political thinking and thinkers to do business as usual.
When you mentioned political power, I know you will end up talking about politics, and it's a good thing we are factoring politics into our discussion and also solutions is a very valid, vital thing. Like I always say that young guys should get involved in politics as well, right? So it's very fundamental. It's very fundamental. So basically, I think we have a solution to many problems. And like I said earlier, Africa has nothing to lose. And one of the models, and everything to gain. And one of the models I want us to really look out for is local production. I bet it with you. The startup that is ordering 10 of our bicycles said they've been to the market. They wanted to take this Indian tricycle, this normal tricycle. Do you know those normal ones, Bajaj and Co, the TVS and Co? That's the one they wanted to take to convert to something they can be using to transport their plastic waste and all of that. They saw that business model or the cost and everything doesn't match up. The fueling, the servicing, the amount to buy itself, then to convert it again and all. When they came across our solution, it became the only thing they want to have. Why did I say all of this? What I'm saying is that by the time we are bringing different innovations and solutions, a lot of things we align and follow up. That is why it's not all by talking, it's by doing.
Yes.
You know, a lot of, you see, right now what I said is, in our workplace, in the factory, we installed the 2.5 kVA capacity of inverter and all, you know, to do our normal calls and everything. But we were doing just more than electronics, more than what's it called, laptop systems with it. We were able to put some power tools on it, some drilling machine, some what's it called, jigsaw, and all of that. Then he said, okay, why don't we scale this thing up to be able to handle our welding machines and all of that?
Yes.
So with 10 kVA, 15, 20 kVA, we are good. And electricity that has become a problem for many companies, become a thing of the past. I even tell the power holding companies to come and carry their utilities and leave me alone for life. No more monthly payment or anything. And I'm able to do a lot of production, put my solution as I went due. I'm able to time my guys, my team member. Okay, then we are able to plan everything. So far, electricity is simple. Why am I saying this? It was because we tried the smaller one to run our peripherals, our systems, electronics, and all. Then we said, okay, what's wrong with us? Why are we relying on either generator or the power to do welding, to do the fabrication, and do power tools? Let's scale this thing up. So that's the next thing we want to do now, you know? So we need to start. If we are talking about e-mobility, don't let us leave it to international multinational companies like Hyundai that will come and bring $60,000 electric vehicle for us. We understand our people. We know what they need. It's cost. Everything is cost here. Everything is price here. Yes. If it's not affordable, it's not meant for the masses. Do you get it?
Absolutely.
So yes, that's the way we need to start thinking, and every other thing we align, definitely. Like I was discussing with some people, they said our leaders are not doing right. They are just deliberately destroying things. And I said, that's for entrepreneurs to do it right and make money off it. Yes. If electricity was good in Nigeria, the solar guys, the renewable energy guys will not be doing so well. But now they are doing so well, providing solutions to different people. And I don't know what government is thinking. Government does not know that for everybody that is going off grid now, having their own power solutions and all of that, they are losing money. So at the end of the day, everybody will have their own systems. I want everybody have their system. What business do you have with electricity again? What will you say is your IGR from electricity?
That is the thing.
I don't know.
1 minute, God. Let me just 1 minute. You see, what Olukokun is saying, I think is very true. Now, and this is what I foresee happening. One, you spoke about power. In Kenya, about 45% of what you pay goes to the government direct.
Oh, really?
Yes. So if I'm paying taxes, levies for power.
That's high.
Exactly.
I think there will be a riot in Ghana if that happens. There will be a riot.
Yes, but you see, so what will happen, as Olukokun is saying, is that one, EVs will come. The government will realize that they are losing taxes in terms of fuel. You see, like Olukokun, there's an article that I wrote, and I saw that what happened was that there's a startup here that there's a startup here that that is using now LPG gas. So once they have LPG gas, what happened was that it used to be about 0.5 cents per liter LPG. But then they got so many numbers. The startup, I think, has about right now close to 4,000 customers. 4 months ago, what did the government do? They raised taxes on LPG. Because they're already seeing, in fact, almost all Uber guys are actually moving towards that. You see?
The problem with the two of you analysts is that, you see, first of all, Olukokun, he in his state submission, he conveniently left out the fact of vested interests. You get it? Like in Nigeria, there's a generator cartel. They have an interest in selling generators. You don't have an interest in the power grid being fixed. You see? There's an oil cartel. The people who are importing the oil and distributing it for people to put in their cars. Vested interest. All these people have political pool. You understand? However, the fundamental problem when it comes to the revenue shortfall that will occur and government's attempts to plug that hole is that we are moving from a centralized system to a decentralized system. You get what I'm saying? Because anytime I buy fuel,
yes,
the fuel has to go through a supply chain. So you can tax along the value chain. Anytime what is it? I consume electricity, there's a centralized to the grid, it's a centralized distribution system, and you can meter it. But if I have my solar and I'm in the bush somewhere, what? You can only get me at the point of purchase of the equipment.
That is exactly, and you see,
that's exactly what we are saying now.
That is exactly what
we are saying. So, because when you came up with this vested interest of a thing, that's what I'm even talking about.
The problem with that is that when things, well, I don't know about you guys, but we're a democracy, right? When things attack people. Hello?
Yeah,
we're here.
Okay. I thought that you guys went off. When things attack people personally, to a certain degree, they will rise up in revolt. Do you understand? Like Ghana, today, as we're talking now, there's a whole conversation about e-levy. Why? The current government wants to tax people transferring money through their mobile money system. They want to tax 1.5%. I know that Kenya, you also tried that. The citizenry are up in arms. The government is determined to do it. And anybody who has any semblance of political whatever is sure that if they manage somehow to succeed and pass a bill through parliament, in 2 years' time, when you go for elections, bye-bye. Unless they manage to rig on the massive scale, I personally don't see it happening for them. You understand? Or, as it's becoming fashionable once again, there will be coup d'etats and so-called revolutions. So I think it's a whole powder keg. It's a completely different problem than our leaders are used to, I believe. Did you understand? John, you're off. You have muted yourself.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, God. Yes. I wanted to say something. Huh? You see, at the end of the day, and this is something extremely fundamental to what everyone who's in this space is doing. We are taking control back. We're giving control to the consumers. We're giving control to the small people. You see,
exactly.
there's no need. Yeah, you see, now, as Olukokun will give his bike to someone, they'll use that. The guy will probably have a solar panel in his house. He'll be able to charge that, reduce his operating costs. You see, he is not beholden to anyone.
Because our leaders,
actually, there's freedom.
The decisions they are taking, could you analyze them over time? They are seldom thinking about the citizens. They have other interests and needs and aspirations and desires that are a bigger or higher priority in their decision making. You understand? So at a certain point, if the citizen, the ordinary citizen, has a way to check out, he will take it.
That is the thing.
Oh yes,
and that is where now that is where you find entrepreneurs like Olukokun giving that option to the citizens. You see, I keep saying that for the only way that we're going to change things is through business, is through, that is the only way. We can go and make noise in parliament, carry placards and do all that thing up. It's not going to change anything. But give a solution to someone that makes a lot of sense, especially on cost, because this is the African continent, you're good to go.
So my concern is the issue of tax. For a while, I thought Ghana was doing very well with tax, like reducing tax on importation and all of that. So I didn't get to know they are also hiking tax somewhere, like God mentioned. But my greatest concern is that of Kenya. It seems that Kenya is living on tax alone now. That every sector that is doing so well, the government just look at it and, increase tax and all. How do we survive like this? Because the economy staff told us that for an economy to do so well, the tax has to go down, really.
Exactly.
So how come our leaders are still taxing so high, so ridiculously high, and nobody is talking?
Exactly. And you see, Olukokun, and I think for me, what I am foreseeing is that when the EVs start coming in, electric fuel prices, the tax on fuel, the government will see that, oh, this is a problem. You see, because they have revenue targets. So where is it going? It's going to electric vehicles. What is going to happen? They'll probably start taxing the electricity. And if they start taxing electricity like that, one of the things that I'm foreseeing is that now a lot of people will move to self-generation.
Definitely.
Because it will be cheaper.
And that they can never be able to control or regulate. Because, I don't know, how do you start going from house to house to say, do you have solar panel?
Exactly.
Imagine.
They start having the solar panel on your roof.
You have 10 solar panel, will tax you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for such a invigorating chat. We still have lots to talk about, and yes, let's keep at it. Let's keep at it. Olukokun, congratulations on your startup. We hope to see you doing more bigger, better things.
Definitely.
God, yes. AfricaNEV, as you can see from our chat today, we still have a long way to go in terms of making e-mobility a reality in Africa. Viewers, thank you very much for your time. Let's get at it. That is my rallying call. That is my parting shot. Let's get at it. Let's do it. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.